Quote, "We the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, and secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and our posterity. Do ordain and establish this Constitution for the United States of America." Preamble to the Constitution. The preamble states that an overriding purpose of the U.S. Constitution is to promote the general welfare, indicating that issues such as poverty, housing, food, and other economic and social welfare issues facing citizens were of central concern to the authors and still should be of the concern of the government today. Hi, my name is Danielle Butcher, and I stand for the resolution. A government has the obligation to lessen the economic gap between its rich and poor citizens. Observation 1. Definitions. Government, the body of persons that constitutes the governing authority of a political unit or organization. Obligation, the act of obligating oneself to a course of action. Lesson, to shrink in size, number, or degree. Economic gap, referring to the unequal distribution of income and opportunity between different groups of society. Rich, having abundant possessions. Poor, lacking possessions. Merriam-Webster Dictionary. Observation 2. Value. My value for this debate is equality. Criterion. To promote the general welfare because all people deserve the right to be fed, clothed, employed, and educated. Observation 3. Contentions. Contention 1. We need equal job opportunities and job training for all. Quote, I think that equality needs to be brought in to include equal access to jobs and equal rights in the workplace. Jill Stein. I'm not saying the pay for all workers needs to be flat equal pay because different people have different jobs and levels of those jobs. What I'm saying is that workers need to be given equal opportunities in the workforce and equal opportunities when it comes to getting the job. Christopher Jenick says, the past 30 years of rising American inequality can be attributed to 3 key factors, one of them being the decline in jobs and unemployment rates for less skilled workers, which has increased the number of households of children, but no male breadwinner. The question of fairness should prompt the government to take a stance in redistributive measures through job training and unemployment services to the poor. This takes society closer to the quality of opportunity, which accords with the ideal of fairness. Contention 2. The government should address the issue of poverty, and they should provide for the general welfare. Quote, the government's role should be to address the issue of poverty rather than income inequality, by providing equal opportunities of education and advancements to all Americans instead of penalizing their financial state. Federal Reserve Bank of Minneapolis. Poverty is something that stems from the economic gap. The Constitution says, promote the general welfare. Promoting the general welfare is looking out for one another's and putting others' needs above your own. This does not mean stealing from the rich to give to the poor, but giving the poor a hand up instead of a hand out. Confucius says, give a man a fish and you feed him for a day. Teach a man to fish, and you feed him for a lifetime. The government has the obligation to teach their citizens to provide for and better themselves. They can do this by ensuring all have equal chance in education and vocational training is making a way for individuals to level up and gain independence in life. This independence is the pathway of liberty, which does not end with just one generation. Quote, the test of our progress is not whether we add more to the abundance of those who have much, it's whether we provide enough for those who have little. President Franklin D. Roosevelt. Contention 3. When you have economic inequality, you also have political inequality. Quote, economic inequality also feeds the political kind, driving everything from the actions of our political representatives to the quality and quantity of civic arrangement, such as voting and community-based public service. It's long been known that the better educated, those with higher incomes, participate more in policies on everything from voting to contacting politicians to donating. The government responds more to those who are privileged than even to middle-income people who vote. Theda Skopel, The Harvard Gazette. One harmful effect of the widening gap between the wealthiest 1% of Americans and the rest of the population is the growing economic and political influence that the very rich yield over the rest of us. Considering the current rules, it's no shock that the wealthiest political supporters often have the most access to candidates and can campaign more effectively. Those with both influence and access frequently shape the political agenda. The government disregards those without significant economic power and keeps them out of the conversation. meaning that those who are higher up on the income ladder get more say in the election than those who are closer to the bottom. In conclusion, by promoting the general welfare, we are giving everyone, even the poor, what they deserve, which is the right to be fed, clothed, employed, and educated. That is equality, and a big step in making that happen is by closing the economic gap. Therefore, it is for these reasons that I urge the judges to stand with me and vote for the resolution. A government has the obligation to lessen the economic gap between its rich and poor citizens. I now stand ready for cross-examination.